Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm working on a 2-page layout. I'm going to be coordinating this pattern paper here onto both sides. So I cut one down that is 9 by 9 and the other is 12 by 9. And so one of them is going to go completely across a page where the other one just kind of goes almost to the end of the page with a little bit of a gap. So I'm using brown cardstock as my base, which is very Thanksgiving-ish or fall-ish. As you can tell, this is a fall layout. You can tell right here I have the 12 by 9 piece here, and I did leave like an 1.5 inch gap on both the top and the bottom. So I plan on putting 3 4x6s across the 12 inches of the layout. But if you notice, 2 of those pictures have one end each of the kitchen island. Now they don't match up exactly, but I'm going to kind of tilt one of them and give it a little bit of interest. And so on this one, I actually have 6 4x6s that I'm using, but of course I'm going to cut them down. So this top one of my granddaughter in my hand now, I'm cutting this down to 4x4, and that's going to lay on the top part of the other picture of my other granddaughter, which I'll trim that one later because it gives it a little bit more of, I like the better look anyway. So it's going to look something like this by the time I'm done with it. So I love layouts that include lots of photos and also, of course, some pretties. So that SVG that's over there on that bottom, which is serving as my title, is from the Printable Cuttable Creatables SVG shop, which I'll have a link down below. I'm part of the design team, and so this is the cutie, or the cute little pretty that I'm adding to my page. So because I'm tilting those pictures, I do need something to cover that pattern paper, or at least in my opinion. So I did grab a piece of that tan cardstock, and that's the same color that I used for one of the layers on that Thanksgiving turkey SVG that I showed you earlier. So everything is going to coordinate. So I'm going ahead, and I have a general idea of what I want to do, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere all the pieces down. So I think I pretty much fast forward that, which I usually do when I'm adhering pieces onto the page, because I always figured nobody really needs to see me putting tape on the back of something on everything. So I'm using my T-square ruler because I want to pretend like I'm going to get things straight. But if you subscribe to my channel, you know, even with the T-square ruler, nothing is ever straight. So I just put that cardstock down like I mentioned before. Now you notice over in that top left-hand corner, there was a little notch because I used a scrap piece. I wasn't too worried about it because that photo was going to cover it. So here's what I'm talking about. So my kids are on the opposite ends of the island there. It doesn't quite match up because it wasn't meant to be that type of picture. It just so happened. But I thought it looked better tilted like that than if I would have kept them both straight. And it also gives a little quirkiness, which you know I love. So now over on the left side of the page, I'm using the right side of the page to place the pattern paper so that it flows easily, and also to hopefully have my straight-ish 4x6 paper, picture next to the on the right hand side. I hope this is all making sense. Sometimes I feel like I babble or ramble, and I'm sure I do. So this is what I was talking about. There's a lot of tablecloth in that photo, which I didn't necessarily need. And I think it just kind of gives a better look if that top picture is brought down a little bit. So I went ahead and adhered those. Now, like I mentioned before, I love using multiple photos in a layout. And I'm really glad I found this layout, and I wish I remembered where I found it from, but if I do, I will definitely leave a link there. And also there'll be a link to my blog, and so if I don't have it here, you'll definitely find information on my blog. So I'm going to go ahead and put that SVG over there in that left-hand corner. I inked the turkey on this, so it gave it just a little bit more browning. But I love this because it's really basic, a lot of browns, but it's still so pretty. And I love layered SVGs. It's so fun. So once I do that, I figured, okay, now I got to try to pretty this thing up. So the paper that I'm using right here is also from the same paper pad, and it's just some scrap pieces that I have together. So a lot of times when I have a paper pad, you know, the big 12 by 12 ones, when I have little scraps like that, I just get an envelope and adhere the envelope to the flap of the paper pad. and then put all the scraps in there. So I know when I'm doing something like this, I can just grab from there. Now, I wanted to put something over here on that right side. So I just went to my Cricut Design Space, grabbed a font, and then did the same thing like with the offsets to build on it. And if you notice, it's the exact same colors as the turkey. So it, again, coordinates. Now, this white piece of paper, you're going to see me when I put adhesive on it, is actually the back of one of the scraps of that paper pad. So it was the perfect size. It was already cut. And, you know, I may not use the scrap as the color or the pattern. So why not use it as the white? So I was going to put it, you saw me directly onto the page, but then I saw this blue paper that I had pulled out earlier. And again, I wanted to coordinate some blue with that blue that that's on the pattern paper. And so I just cut off a part. Originally I was thinking, okay, fully cut on both sides, but look at how pretty that is with that torn edge. Torn pieces of paper, I think that used to be like a big thing earlier. I don't do it very often, but I really like the way this looked here. There's not a whole lot going on this layout, so every little detail that I can put really makes it stand out. Again, it's just a very simple thing as a torn piece of paper, and I did want the white part showing. So since I did that on the right side, I wanted to make sure I did it on the left page as well. And again, I just needed to add a little something. I wasn't really sure where I was going to place this yet, and you'll see me kind of moving it around. But I end up putting it up on the top, and it's just a little extra, not a whole lot of extra journaling, just a little something, you know, probably something like the granddaughters were helping or something like that. So this is the year of 2021 where I had hand surgery, so my kids had to do the entire dinner. And I mean, usually my husband will step in, but the kids were just like ready to go. So we were like, yeah, go for it. And, you know, it was perfect. And it was really hard for me because I'm normally the one doing all that. So I was up and I was like, ooh, you know, whatever, trying to stir things with my left hand and stuff. And they kept telling me, sit down, rest. So it's kind of funny how, you know, I probably said multiple times, I need some help. And the one year I get help, it was driving me crazy. But anyhow, so, you know, and again, the rules of three, which I don't know if it really needed this extra little blue here, but I went ahead and added just a piece of blue underneath that tag over on that top left. I did add some enamel dots off camera because after I was done with this, or at least I thought I was done with it when I was taking pictures, I just felt like it still needed a little something. So I grabbed some enamel dots, and you will see it in the final pictures. But, and they're just kind of sprinkled here and there. I believe I used, like an orange, a kind of a tannish, and then white. But you'll see that, like I said, when I do the final project. But I do hope you like this video. And if you do, give me a thumbs up and make sure you hit that subscribe button below. I post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the second is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center. And the command center is the name of my craft room and also the name of my blog. Again, all that information will be down below. So these leaves right here, I bought these at the Dollar Tree a long time ago because they were just so pretty, and I thought, you know, I might use these. And I think they just happened to be on my desk, which was weird because I bought them so long ago. I don't remember pulling them out for something else. But again, it's not a big difference because it's, you know, it's brown and it just flows with the spread, but it's just the little things, I think. And I hope you can see the enamel dots there. I know you can definitely see them. See on that top left. But anyhow, here they are. Thanks again for watching. Bye.